It is hot as hell out here, but it's not as hot as this take, and it's that excellence pushes people away. Now, at the beginning of my ministry career, I actually worked at a church that had 2 Sunday morning services, and leadership decided that we wanted to add a third, but it was going to be after lunch in the afternoon. And because we valued an excellence culture, we believed that if you signed up to volunteer on Sunday morning, that you were also signing yourself up to volunteer for Sunday afternoon. And rightfully so, the volunteers pushed back on that. They said, listen, our weekends are already short. We can't be spending our whole entire Sunday at the church. We have other things that we have to take care of. And honestly, if I was in that position as well, I would have said the exact same thing. I would have opted out and said, I'm done. Well, that service ended up not happening. And there is a world, and you've probably been in it as well, just like I have. I've been on both sides of this, where a volunteer decides to opt out because the level of excellence is so high and it's so arbitrary that it's impossible to live up to. So you burn out and you say, this just isn't for me. Well, that is what we're going to discuss in today's video. I'm going to talk about why excellence is not the word that we need to be using to measure what we're doing in the church world. I'm going to give you a different word that we can use, and then 2 ways that we can gauge the environments that we're building. But before we go any further, if you're into these kind of hot takes, hit the subscribe button. It really doesn't do much for me besides just gets my content in front of more people that might like it as well. So let's jump into it. Excellence. What is excellence? I have found that excellence is a measure that we have decided to use in the church to make an arbitrary idea of how we think service should go or ministry should go. And what it does is it actually just creates a very unhealthy culture to be in, because everybody's level of excellence is different, right? So a church member's level of excellence could be completely different than a staff member's level of excellence. And my level of excellence could be way different than the senior pastor's level of excellence. And it's not a good gauge to use to be measuring what we do. For example, I could walk up to a volunteer after a Sunday morning service and say, hey man, the way you played the guitar part wasn't excellent. Let's try to do it better next time. People aren't stupid. They know what we're talking about, right? What we're really trying to say is, what you did wasn't perfect, man. You really need to do better next time. And that goes down to the root of the problem. So the root of the problem is that excellence is just a mask for something else. And it's a word that we're not allowed to use as Christians. And that word is perfect or perfection, because there was only one perfect person. And so we've created this off-limits term that we can't use. So we have egos involved, right? We create these services, we create these environments, these mission organizations, and we want them to do well. We want people to pat us on the back and tell us we did good. There's a lot of ego involved. And so we had to wrap perfection in something else, and we call it excellence. And when you have this culture of excellence, and nobody knowing where the bar actually is, people will burn out. Volunteers burn out. They leave. They don't want to be involved anymore. Staff members burn out because the level of excellence between staff members could be different. Staff in senior leadership, staff in your elder board could be completely different. It becomes an impossible game to chase. But not only that, church members don't want to get involved either. And the reason they don't want to get involved is because from the seats, it looks like everything's perfect. They don't need my help. Or they know that it's a high-stress environment. Once again, people aren't dumb. They can see when things are stressful. They can see when you're in a high-stress environment. Why on earth would they want to get involved if they know that that's the culture that you built at your church? And so you're probably asking the question, Matt, get to the point. What are we trying to get to? The word I think we need to replace it with is irresistible. And I know that we're just talking about words right now, but words mean a lot. People know what you're saying when you say excellent. But people also know what you say when you're saying irresistible. When you say something is irresistible, it's contagious. You want to be around it all the time. You want to get involved. You want to volunteer your time and your resources to making that thing, that organization, that event, the best that it could possibly be. And I believe that Jesus was an irresistible person. People that weren't like Jesus wanted to be around Jesus, whether they had different backgrounds, cultures, belief systems. They wanted to be around him even if they never believed what he said. Now, the first time I heard the word irresistible, it came from Andy Stanley. And the moment that he said it, my brain, the light bulb just went off. It made sense. Of course, we want to build irresistible environments, not excellent environments, irresistible environments. Because I will tell you, I've had people that I've done ministry with, whether it's on the worship team, production team, communications team, they have told me just straight up, I don't know if I believe this stuff, but I really enjoy being around you guys. I love being here at the church. You're a true joy to be around, and so I'm going to keep hanging out. That is what Jesus modeled for us. We are to love him and love people. And how do we love people? We create spaces where they feel like they can belong, even if they never believe it in the end. So you're probably asking me at this point, Matt, that's great. You came up with another word to use, but can you measure it? Yes, we can. With excellence, it's almost impossible to measure because excellence it's an always moving target. Irresistible can be measured by two things. The first one is, can you look up at your organization, look around the room, whether it's a church service on Sunday morning, a ministry that you're doing in the community, are there people there that are involved or coming and participating that don't believe what you're saying, but they're still coming because they enjoy being around you? If you say yes, then I think you're moving in the right direction. But if you say no, then it's time to reevaluate. How do you create an irresistible environment? It could be totally different. An irresistible environment doesn't have to be in a church. It could be in a coffee shop. It could be in a park. It could be in a mega church, or it could be in a small-sized church, medium-sized church. It can be anywhere. It's creating a contagious or an irresistible environment that people want to be a part of. The second gauge that you need to look at is, if your organization, if your church, if your mission closes doors tomorrow, never to be seen again, would your community be genuinely upset? I'm not talking about your church community. I'm talking about local missions, local government, local schools, neighborhoods, local businesses. Would they be genuinely upset that you close your doors, or would they even notice? I think that's the other gauge that you have to run by. Now, I'm standing here in Burr Park. Burr Park, if you're not from Dalton, Georgia, is a hot spot on Friday nights. Out here in the yard that I'm standing in front of, I'm actually on the stage right now. Out here in the yard, hundreds of people gather every single Friday night for the Off the Rails Summer Concert Series. It's a free summer concert series where people can come and enjoy good music, good food, good drinks, and be in community with people. We're going to measure that, what I just said, by those two standards. And I'll be a great example for this, for the first one. Every week, there is a different genre of music that they play, whether it's a rock night, whether it's a blues night, a jazz night, it could be a hip-hop night, whatever it is, it's all themed. And if you told me it's hip-hop night, dog, I'm there. I'm in, I'm having a good time. You tell me it's a rock night, I'm totally there. You tell me it's yacht rock night, that's not my vibe. I'm not really into the whole yacht rock thing, but I still come because my community's here. And I still want to hang out with people. It doesn't matter what the product is that we're putting out. I just want to hang out with the people that I enjoy hanging out with. So there's gauge number one. We hit it. That's an irresistible environment. Gauge number two is, if this event were to stop this Friday night and never happen again, would the community be upset? And I could genuinely say yes, because this event, it always packed out. Like I said, hundreds of people out here on the lawn enjoying live music, having good food, drinking good drinks, and just hanging out with friends and community. You got to do that same kind of evaluation with your own church, with your organization. Do you have an irresistible environment that people love to spend time in? So my take on this is, and I want you to remember this, is that excellence pushes people away, but irresistible pulls people in. Excellence pushes away, irresistible pulls people in. Irresistible says the table is open for you, no matter who you are, where you came from, what your phase of life is. Excellence says you gotta figure your crap out before you walk into the door. And I think the first one is the one that we should be living by. Hey, if you're really into this content, if you got something out of it, let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Love to have some conversation about it. Also, if you just want to know more about these kind of videos or share it with some friends, hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, because I got videos like this coming out all the time. And if you want to know how I schedule 38 volunteers every single week without pulling my hair out, you can check out this video right here. I put a whole in-depth breakdown of how I actually pull that off every single week. I'll see you guys in the next one.